Jurassic World Rebirth introduced us to the Distortus Rex, the franchise's very first mutant dinosaur, a failed hybrid if you may. But despite there pretty much clearly being only one Distortus Rex in Jurassic World Rebirth, it hasn't stopped fans from speculating that there were actually two. So today I'm going to be explaining why this is floating about the internet, and also explaining how there is actually a possibility to make not just one Distortus Rex, but actually two Distortus Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth. Use your imagination just a little bit, and maybe even the director might come out and say, yeah, there were two of them. We'll explain that as well. But before we do, make sure you leave a like on this video and make sure you subscribe, because we are so close to 275,000 subscribers. So if you're looking for one place for all of your Jurassic needs here on YouTube, then look no further, as you found the best place to be. We cover the Jurassic movies, the Jurassic series, and even all of the video games that release as well. We have some Rebirth inspired merchandise over on our merch store right now. You can check that out via a link in the description. But for now, let's get into how there are actually two Distortus Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth. So in recent days, some people online, not many of them, but some of them have been speculating about the idea of having two Distortus Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, there's not too much credibility to this theory, but there is enough to discuss why this theory is floating around. So why is it floating around? Well, it's because of this. One shot of the Distortus Rex shows it being absolutely massive and eating a helicopter in its mouth. Then suddenly, just a few scenes later, he is much smaller in another shot when eating Martin, thus leading fans to believe that there was actually a second Distortus Rex this whole time. I mean, sure, a small size difference here and there doesn't hurt, but this is a big size change and a big size difference. So of course, understandably, people are going to speculate, were there actually two of them? Well, to explain this, basically, it's just a sense of scale. The director of Jurassic World Rebirth is none other than Gareth Edwards. He's directed Godzilla 2014, Star Wars Rogue One, The Creator, and much more. And when you take a look at the movies that he has directed, more specifically Godzilla and The Creator, but even in Rogue One with the Executor Star Destroyer, you can see that those sizes change and vary throughout the movie quite often. This is just something that Gareth Edwards is known to do. If he wants to make a really cool badass shot, but he's going to have to upscale one of the creatures, he's going to do that. And that's pretty much what he did with the Distortus Rex. He basically upscaled it to show it destroying the helicopter. And honestly, when I saw that scene in cinemas and I wasn't thinking about the details, my jaw dropped and I was like, whoa, that's freaking awesome. But it's not just a Gareth Edwards thing. Sure, you can look at the other three movies, such as The Creator, Star Wars Rogue One, and Godzilla 2014, but let's take a look at Jurassic. Look at the Mosasaurus, for example. She has changed her size so many times throughout the Jurassic franchise. It's pretty much notorious at this point that the Mosasaurus in the Jurassic World trilogy cannot stay consistent in her size. But it is known that the most accurate size of the Mosasaurus is the kaiju size from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So if anything, if we want to go ahead and blame the director Gareth Edwards, I don't think we have too much of a leg to stand on, because Jurassic does this as well. We've seen it with the Mosasaurus. I mean, other dinosaurs such as Indominus Rex, Scorpius Rex, even Tyrannosaurus Rex, you know, all of these creatures have stayed a relatively good and accurate size throughout the franchise, bar maybe one or two scenes. But the Mosasaurus is the clear example that not everything is consistent in this franchise. And now we can add the Distortus Rex to that as well. But unfortunately, Gareth Edwards does do such a thing just to make a scene look cool, so it does break the continuity just a little bit. So much so, actually, I just remembered this. My mother, when I went to go and watch Jurassic World Rebirth with my parents, she's not somebody who focuses on the details in movies too much, she just likes the plot and enjoys the movies. But the first thing that she ever brought up was the fact that, were there actually two D.Rexes on the island? And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, look at it, one of them had the helicopter in its mouth, and then the other one was a lot smaller when eating Martin. And I sat there and I was thinking, my mum actually just made a really good point about a Jurassic movie that I actually missed. So if my mother is noticing things like this, then clearly you may have actually done something wrong instead. But it's not just the Distortus Rex that had a size issue in the movie. We also have to speak about the Titanosaurus. Obviously, it's a large sauropod, the largest sauropod to ever exist in this universe so far, so it's understandable to say that it's going to be a pretty big dinosaur. However, recently on Twitter once again, size estimates have been floating around for this specific dinosaur, and as you can see, this one by Coco Dark makes it a huge kaiju behemoth. Now, technically, it's accurate for what we have information-wise. He explains why this size of the Titanosaurus makes sense. And honestly, when you look at the comparison that he's put together, it makes a lot of sense for this Titanosaurus to be this size. But when you look at it standing next to the Brachiosaurus, it just looks too damn big. And this is where the Titanosaurus is also being sized up for scale just for the sake of the movie or a really cool shot. When we look at Jurassic Shadows, who is actually one of my graphics designers for my logos, he actually probably has the best look at an overall accurate size of this Titanosaurus, making it of course larger than the Brachiosaurus, but not a kaiju-sized behemoth. So technically, both of these size charts are actually accurate. Coco Darks with the huge Titanosaurus, and Jurassic Shadows with the slightly smaller Titanosaurus. Both of these, without a doubt, are accurate in their own aspects. But if we were to think about more of a canonical answer about the size of the Titanosaurus, I think Jurassic Shadows is probably best to go by. So yes, there's not actually two Distortus Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth, it's just a sizing issue from Gareth Edwards. But if he wants to change that and go ahead and say that there were actually two Distortus Rexes, it's not too far-fetched to go and say such a thing or even make that canon. So let me explain really quickly. So, can there be two D.Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth? Well, why not? Here's why. It will be relatively tricky to explain considering the opening prologue pretty much goes ahead and says that there's just one Distortus Rex and it's the 23rd version, but 17 years is plenty of time for the original creature to go ahead and repopulate, to produce an offspring, which in time should, in theory, be a lot smaller than itself. So what my idea here actually is that the big one that we see with the helicopter is the very first one that we saw in the opening prologue of Jurassic World Rebirth. After destroying the helicopter, it merely decided not to fight because it didn't like the fire or the taste or something and decided to walk away. And then the Distortus Rex that we see later on in the pontoon, that's actually the offspring of the big one that we saw with the helicopter. And coincidentally is the same one that also ended up eating Martin as well. So we can just explain it like that. But I know some of you will be going straight to the comments already saying, but how does it reproduce? The same way the Scorpius Rex and Blue the Velociraptor did, on their own, asexually. That's been done twice in the franchise already, and depending how you want to look at the Charlotte and Maisie Lockwood story, you can technically say it's happened 3 times as well. But it's definitely happened for 2 dinosaurs in this franchise. One of them was also a hybrid dinosaur, which is what the Distortus Rex is supposed to be a failure of, a hybrid dinosaur. So it's not too far-fetched to say that it was able to reproduce on its own. And that would explain why the 2 sizes of the Distortus Rex in Jurassic World Rebirth can literally just be said as being 2 Distortus Rexes. And honestly speaking, I think that'll probably be a much cooler story. But yes, unfortunately, officially at this time, it's just a size and scale issue from Gareth Edwards, but it's not too far-fetched to say that there could possibly be 2 Distortus Rexes overall. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more logical it becomes. So there we have it. No, there were not 2 Distortus Rexes in Jurassic World Rebirth, unfortunately, but all it takes is for somebody official to go ahead and say, actually, there was, and that my theory is the correct theory to go by, explaining why there are 2 Distortus Rexes. Very simple, very easy, but at this point in time, officially there are none, but I won't say it's too far-fetched to go ahead and officially say that there are 2 as well. We just have to wait for somebody official to come out and say that, but we don't have people like Colin Trevorrow working on the franchise anymore, unfortunately. If you enjoyed today's video, then go ahead and leave a like on the video, and why not head on down to the comments and let me know what you thought of this sizing issue, and if you thought there were 2 Distortus Rexes in the movie as well. Be sure to subscribe if you are new around here, but most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.